Abuja.
Good evening and welcome to the Citizen FM News at 6. I am Lawrence Umoite. President Bola Tinubu has urged the newly appointed service chiefs to work as a team, underscoring that there is work to be done. President Tinubu made the remark when he met the new National Security Advisor, Nuhu Ribadu, and the new service chiefs for the first time on Monday since their appointment on June 19, 2023. In a chat with State House correspondents, the NSA conveyed the president's assurances to the service chiefs that they have his unwavering support. Ribadu, who said the service chiefs pledged their loyalty to the president and Nigerians, also underlined their commitment to work tirelessly to secure the country. He added that the president made the right choices in the selection of service chiefs and expect them to deliver. Former Governor of Zamfara State, Ahmad Yarima, has suggested that President Bola Tinubu should first engage the use of dialogue with bandits rather than military force as the best way to address the insecurity challenge to resolve insurgency in the country. Yarima gave this suggestion today while speaking with State House correspondents after a courtesy visit to the president. Senator Yarima, who said the immediate past government failed in negotiating with the bandit, was of the opinion that if the federal government waits in and begin negotiation with the bandit, advanced progress, like was experienced with the Niger Delta militants, will take place.
The bandits, a lot of them have been killed, a lot of them have been arrested, and I'm not saying that the government should just continue to just negotiate indefinitely. No, I said invite them. There are people who repent in all religions, Islam, Christianity, Judaism. You find that God himself who created us, once you repent after committing offenses, after committing sin, he forgives you. So there is no way you can say Nigerians should not be forgiven for if they repent. If they repent, they should be rehabilitated and integrated in the society, and then measures will be taken to avoid the occurrence of this menace. But if they don't, like I said, the government has enough power, enough resources. The military security have enough capacity. Nigerian security, I have confidence in them that they have capacity with the political will and support of government to handle this matter.
The World Bank Country Director in Nigeria, Shubhan Kahuri, says the bank is poised to deploy its resources to enhance the standard of living of the Nigerian people. Kahuri said the bank was in full support of the decision of the Nigerian government to withdraw subsidy on petroleum products.
Basic point to remember, though, is that this pain was necessary as a part of almost like an emergency surgery to stop the hemorrhaging of the Federation's finances. Funds, 400 billion naira per month, that could have been used for primary health care, that could have been used for basic education, for just to ensure law and order and security all around the country, was instead being used to finance something that where the benefits were mostly being realized by the rich or across the borders. So undoubtedly, in the short term, there has been and will be pain, but it is all in the interest of a longer term gain, which is to enable the Nigerian government, again, both at the federal and at the state levels, to truly invest in Nigeria's people, to invest in the infrastructure that communities need, and to ultimately enable, those private investment to come in and create the jobs that Nigerians are looking for.
Sahubi, who was speaking in Abuja, said the recent $800 million palliative given to Nigeria was a loan the country will have to pay back.
If you do one thing, it means you may not be able to do something else. The trade-off in this particular case is to enable the World Bank to have the financing to continue to provide financing into the future. So imagine if we had $1 billion that we can used to support Nigeria and other African countries. If we were to give it all out in grants right today, we would do that once and we would be done. Instead, if we were to give it, as we do in the case of Nigeria, as a 30-year loan at a very low interest rate, it's about 2.5% per year, with an initial grace period of between 8 and 10 years. What that means is that effectively it is in many ways like a grant, because that's why it's called highly concessional, but there is some repayment which then enables us to continue to provide this kind of concessional financing going forward.
The Federal Capital Territory Administration has announced that diphtheria, a serious and very contagious disease, has broken out in Abuja. It has claimed one life already. The announcement was made at a press conference addressed by the Director of Public Health, Dr. Sadiq Abdurrahman. He called on residents of the FCT to immediately take the vaccine to break the spread of the disease, which he explained is an infection of the nose and throat that's easily preventable by the vaccine. A patient with diphtheria experiences a sheet of thick gray matter covering the back of the throat, making breathing very hard. The spread of the disease is by airborne respiratory droplets, saliva, and others. Abdurrahman further explained that a 4-year-old child has died in Dede district of the FCT out of the 8 cases recorded. The National Hajj Commission says 14 Nigerian pilgrims who traveled for this year's exercise have died in Saudi Arabia. NAFCON's Chief of Operations and Medical Team Lead Usman Galadima, speaking during a post-Arafat meeting with stakeholders in Makkah, disclosed that 2 women gave birth in Saudi Arabia. Galadima said 3 cases of chickenpox have been recorded, adding that the pilgrims have been isolated to avoid a spread. The first Federal Capital Territory Minister, Chief Mobalaji Ajose Adogun, is reportedly dead. The businessman died at the age of 96. His death was confirmed by a member of the family, Oluremi Ajose Adogun. In a statement she wrote on behalf of the family, he was appointed as minister by the General Murtala Mohammed military government and was responsible for the master plan of Abuja during his time as the FCT minister. King Willem Alexander of the Netherlands has apologized for his country's role in slavery and asked for forgiveness during a historic speech greeted by cheers and whoops at an event to commemorate the anniversary of the abolition of slavery in Dutch colonies. The King's speech followed Dutch Prime Minister Mark Rutte's apology last year for the country's role in the slave trade and slavery. The public expressions of remorse are part of a wider reckoning with colonial histories in the West that the Black Lives Matter movement spurred in recent years.
Of all forms of absence of freedom, slavery is the most hurtful, the most humiliating, the most degrading. Seeing a fellow human being as a commodity that you can dispose of as you see fit, as a submissive tool for profit which you can chain, trade, brand, beat, punish, even kill with impunity. Recently, the Queen and I have had many conversations in the Netherlands and on the islands in the Caribbean which are part of the kingdom. We have spoken with people who have their roots in Suriname and also with people who have a connection with Indonesia. Among them, people who only have to go back 3 generations to find a relative who was born into slavery. They made it clear to us how much the pain is still felt. We carry with us the horrors of slavery in the past. The consequences of this can still be felt today in racism in our society.
The United Nations Secretary General Antonio Guterres, visiting Haiti's capital on Saturday, said international aid has not met the impoverished country's growing humanitarian needs, and he called for more support for the Haitian police to fight gangs. The visit was meant to spotlight the crisis facing the Caribbean country as it struggles to combat violent crimes that have largely overrun the capital. The UN chief 9 months ago proposed that one or more nations send a rapid action force to support Haiti's security services.
Today, I met with Haitians and felt the exhaustion of a population that has been facing a cascade of crises and unbearable living conditions for far too long. I listened to their cry for help and their call for security and for the international community's commitment to supporting the national police in the area of security. I call on the international community to come to the aid of those in need. It's a question of solidarity, but it's also a question of moral justice. The Haitian people have a right to this solidarity. The Haitian people deserve this solidarity.
And in sports, Nigerian football players get set for the new season in Europe, Super Eagles defender Kenneth Omeru and striker Sadiq Kumar have been speaking about their future and the Nigerian national team.
Confidence, the coach don't believe in me, and I was like contemplating, like double thinking, and I end up playing the ball outside, which that goal can change everything for us in the tournament. But
I want to play European football. Like you said, I've played in the World Cup, won the AFCON, but I think I have to, before thinking of going maybe Saudi Arabia, I used to try to play in European football and Champions League, Europa League, but yeah, that's it. Prefer to still be in Spain, in La Liga, but definitely not the second division, but I think I still want to be in Europe in the next 2-3 years. To be in Europe, play with the national team, is important for me.
And that's the Citizen FM News at 6. I'm Lawrence Omoite.